If you're anything like me, you know next to nothing about baseball, but your entire feed on every social media is filled with discourse about somebody named Pete Rose. And from what you can gather, you get the sense that he's not a good guy. I did a little research and gathered my own opinions, and I'm here to walk you through it. Hi, I'm Lev, aka Lisko2000, and I make YouTube videos so you don't have to. If you like my vibe, like and subscribe. If you really like my vibe, I have a Patreon. It's $1 a month. I plug it all the time, but like seriously, join it. It's fun. There's a bunch of goodies on there. There's pretty good stuff. I like my Patreon. Oh, what am I reading? What am I like looking down at and fidgeting with today? It's The Pitch by Lisi Shower. Lisi is my friend and this is her thesis. I think she has like 1 million copies of this thing. I'll put her Instagram right here. I think it's at Brat Institute. She changes it sometimes, I think. It's about baseball and it's about marketing baseball to every audience. I'm a little obsessed with it. I think it's really good. She actually consulted me for advice on something she was working on for this. Well, I got to consult her about my thesis too, which just feels amazing. And speaking of my thesis, you guys can see them, right? I moved them down for you, and also for me because I want them behind my head. But it's my Drazen Petrovic and Reggie Lewis card, and the Drazen one is being held by Jerry West Beanie Baby. Okay. So let's get into Pete Rose. Pete Rose played Major League Baseball from 1963 to 1986, most prominently with the Cincinnati Reds. And he did a little stint with the Philadelphia Phillies where he won a World Series. He was also a manager for a little while before in 1989, the MLB found out that he was gambling on MLB games, including his own. After his gambling was discovered, the MLB went on to perma-ban him from all things relating to Major League Baseball. And for almost 40 years, he was ineligible for the Baseball Hall of Fame. Rose was also accused of statutory rape in 2016 after radio host John Dowd alleged that he had a sexual relationship with a teenage girl in the 1970s. Rose then sued John Dowd for alleging this, but the woman who he raped the teenage girl, the child he raped in the 1970s, came forward and said, yes, this happened, and she was 14 at the time. Rose then claimed that he thought she was 16, which I guess was the age of consent in Ohio at the time, but doesn't really make it any better. In response to these allegations, the Philadelphia Phillies canceled his addition to their Wall of Fame and the ceremony that went with it in 2017. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, Pete Rose was in his mid-30s when he raped this child. In 2022, a female reporter from the Philadelphia Inquirer asked him about these allegations, and Rose said, "It was 55 years ago, babe. Yikes. Not good. Disgusting. Canceled. Hard canceled." Pete Rose died in 2024. And in any sane world, you'd expect him to stay permabanned forever because no league would want somebody who gambled on their own games and raped a child in their Hall of Fame. But the MLB actually walked back their permaban a few days ago. I'm recording this on May 15th, so it was a few days ago that this happened. And the MLB said, we're reinstating Pete Rose. He is now eligible for the Hall of Fame in the future. So it doesn't mean he's in the Hall of Fame, which is good, but it does mean that in the future they can elect him to the Hall of Fame. The Cincinnati Reds also just did a Pete Rose Day. I think it was yesterday on May 14th. Yesterday for me. I don't know when you guys are going to see this, but gross. So that's why everybody was talking about Pete Rose, but what does it mean that he's been reinstated? To me, it means that legacies are volatile, and the way you're remembered will always be defined by the current political moment at which someone is remembering you. History is constructed, and in reinstating Pete Rose, the MLB is erasing his victim. And in terms of the whole gambling thing, I think that kind of goes against their whole motive, right? Why would you ever reinstate somebody, no matter how good they were, if they were gambling on their own games and you're the league, right? I'm recording this in May of 2025, and I find it unsurprising that the MLB reinstated Pete Rose when they did. We're living in a time that's post-consequence. People can get uncanceled and start grifting and going on right-wing podcasts. Our president is a convicted felon. And speaking of the US government, they're removing anything deemed woke from their official archives. They've removed the trans women at Stonewall, and they tried to remove Jackie Robinson. You can die tomorrow. And in 20 years, somebody can decide that your image was unsavory, and they can banish you to wherever deleted government archive pages go. They can also bring back a pedophile. It's the MLB Hall of Fame eligibility list. The MLB will never admit it, and I doubt they're even conscious of it, but by reinstating Pete Rose, they're giving into the larger cultural shift to the right. And I bet in 15 years, he'll be unreinstated. He'll be re-permabanned. It might not even be 15 years. It might be 5. It might be 10. Like I said, legacies are volatile. I think the other thing that we have to think about with Pete Rose is that we didn't have social media and this constant stream of information coming at us all the time until pretty recently. So if you missed a news story about somebody's sexual assault case, or if they covered it up, they could do that pretty easily. I remember during the NBA's whole like 75th anniversary media shindig, when they were doing all those commercials with all those old NBA players, there was one with Karl Malone in it, and I was like, you know, at my cousin's beach house eating dinner and stuff, like my dad and my uncle were there, and I was like, ew, like why would they put Karl Malone in this commercial? And my dad's like, what's wrong with Karl Malone? I said, well, he impregnated a child. And my dad went, the mailman? So safe to say, if you missed that news story when it came out, you had no idea that he did that until the social media era, when it got like resurfaced. Because I think for most people in my generation, it is common knowledge that Karl Malone is a predator. But what I don't want to hear you say is that it was 55 years ago, babes. Because that woman is still out there and she lives with that trauma, and many other women have been through the exact same thing. Pete Rose doing what he did so long ago does not minimize its effects. In more recent news, the MLB put Tampa Bay Rays player Wander Franco on indefinite administrative leave after he was found to be having relations with underage girls in the Dominican Republic. He's not permabanned, but I have a feeling he might be pretty soon. So if Pete Rose is reinstated, what does that mean for players like Wander Franco? Are we going to let this predator back into the MLB? Are we going to let Trevor Bauer back into the MLB? I know Trevor Bauer's whole thing wasn't with kids and was sexual assault of grown women, but are we going to let him back in? Like, where's the standard? Is there a standard? Are we post-standard? I just said we're post-consequence, right? Interesting. I keep looking at this thing like it has the answers for me. It doesn't. It is a beautiful, beautiful thesis, though. Anyway, I've been Lisco 2000. If you like this video, I have a bunch of other ones that I've already made. If you haven't watched those, go watch them. If you have already watched them, you are a superstar. And you can watch them again if you'd like. I don't know, if you want more Lisco content. I know I already mentioned this, but I do have a Patreon. It's $1 a month. There are a lot of really fun goodies on there. You're seeing all of my Patreon subscribers go by here. They are all lovely individuals, and it is such a good time, I promise. I make it $1 because that's the lowest I can go on there, and I want it to be accessible. I also recently created a newsletter called Ball is Afterlife about my thesis on myth-making, afterlife, and grief in the NBA. That's a free newsletter. Go subscribe to that. And as always, I'm Lisco 2000 on everything. My socials are all down there. Remember to always be kind, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!